Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Tackle Production. Today I'm Bancroft being joined today by Trevor, Nick, Jimmy, and like always, Fluff.
Hello!
Hi, I'm here.
I'm not used to my name not being called first.
Yeah. This is a commentary video. People, hi, what's up?
Yeah. Caution as we go into this video. Nick is having some technical issues on his part. If he were to happen to robot out, we'll let him know and he'll have to fix that situation. But until then, there's buttons. Click them, please. That's all I'm going to say. So today we have Trevor. You are bringing back Majin Buu with a few tweaks, and Nick is debuting his blue Bardock deck.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
If I go into the Shadow Realm, I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, so I really like Bardock's crew. Bardock's one of my favorite characters, as seen by the mat. I really like Blue. I haven't really been much of a player of Blue, but I have some of the staples, so I wanted to give it a try. And with Battle Evolution Booster adding some extra stuff for Bardock's crew, I thought it was a really good time to visit the deck, see how it works, and I really like it a lot. Tons of card draw. It uses a lot of blockers to defend yourself, and going really big with really big battle cards. So I like it a lot.
Yeah, I played against his Bardock's crew deck earlier this week and got mollywopped by it. So, definitely changed up some stuff in the deck for tonight, and then I changed it up again for a deck profile that you all should be seeing later this week.
Yeah, the table's turned this time. So with the Bardock's crew, the way it works is you want to try to not free play, but get your Bardocks out as quickly as possible and as cheaply as possible. So there's the new Tora 1-drop card from the Battle Evolution Booster, which is what I'm playing, and we'll see it here in a second when it's my turn, but I just try to get out quickly as possible, and then work on keeping myself defended with my Bardocks and going really tall towards the end of the game.
I feel like that's kind of the same strategy almost for Trevor as well, just going super tall in the end.
Yep. Boo goes super tall, especially against these blue decks, and because the longer the game goes on, the worse it gets for me. So, idea is to try and kill them before they can actually get the energy set up, or a field set up in the case of Bardock. Just keeping stuff off the field is definitely key, and beating out the Bardock's crew deck.
Yeah, because Bardock can definitely get its power out very quickly compared to Boo, if I'm correct.
It can.
Yeah.
It kind of all just depends on what people want to counterplay versus not counterplay, and kind of what they draw into.
And if I remember correctly, the Boo stuff, you can drop multiple triple strikes very early, a lot faster than really any other deck can, and significantly faster than the original deck could.
Yeah. Turn 3 is when you can drop 3 triple strikes in a single turn.
Yeah, which is just absurd. Like, I wouldn't call it on the level of something like turn 2 Han, but it is so fast for a blue deck, which blue, one of its big weaknesses right now, especially in the best of 3 formats, is that blue struggles to be able to fit a best of 3 game. And Boo can basically just circumvent that by, reserving out on turn 3 and just beating down the opponent, which is something that I was really impressed on how the deck had performed for you before, was how fast and how much power the deck can put out so quickly.
So go on.
Yeah.
With Bardock's crew. The blue yellow Bardock, the one that's on field, is my main draw engine. I try not to use the leader as often as I can, just because on the front side it's a burst too, and I really don't want to see too many pieces in my drop area. So I try not to swing with it as much. I usually let my Bardock do the most of the work, because the way it works is it's a blocker, and at the end of the turn I can restand it and draw two. So the longer I keep that card on the field, just the more value I get out of it. And it is a 19k body, so if the opponent tries to swing and I block with it, they're going to have to lose some of their hand to try to keep it, to try to get rid of it. And since I'm getting a lot of intrinsic value at the end of the turn, I don't mind that because I can keep it safe too, but just comboing one, maybe two cards.
Yeah. And here, I know I've already lost 2 of my 1-drop Majin Boos, so I'm like, well, I need to get these cards off the field, because if I don't, I'm just going to lose to pressure, because these 2 cards generate so much advantage for him. So I was like, if I don't shoot for it now, I'm going to be in trouble. So Dawn of Evil to find it, and then proceed to freeze a cell, play it, and then continue the chain from there to kind of start wearing down his board.
I think Freeze a Cell is a fantastic unison in this deck.
I was about to say, because on your last duel, I'm going to call it out, we did have someone kind of disagree with that play, but being able to free play that 1-drop, which allows you to go into more of the chain, I feel like is a better option, right?
I personally think it is. I kind of like looked at the other. The main thing is like the blue unisons. Like you either run the baby unison, or you run Zeno, and Zeno does not work with this deck because you can't energy manipulate after you use Zeno. So you're just basically losing an energy at the end of your turn if you use Zeno at the end of the turn. Because what else are you going to play for like 1 energy? Virtually nothing. So this allows me to play the 1-drop, both the Goku and the Majin Buu inside this deck.
Yeah, I really disagreed with that comment. Which, if you're watching this video, please make some suggestions on what you would replace it with, because there might be something that we don't exactly see. But watching Trevor play this deck, I feel like Freeze a Cell is just such a fantastic addition. Of course, you don't get a lot of the value off of the auto for bouncing cards with Freeze a Cell, but just being able to turn on God Sealing Technique and be able to free play your 1-drops is just enough value that I think Freeze a Cell is the best option for this deck. I think it fits with the theme because it's all the villains, which is really dope.
Well, and really, if you think about Zeno, you don't really get any value in Cell, because this isn't the type of deck where you want to tap, 4 energy to play a card, and being able to do something like that on turn 3 is really irrelevant in this deck. And then if you look at Baby, something like Baby, tapping 3 to play Baby on turn 3 really screws with this deck's ability to go off and be incredibly aggressive in that turn 3, turn 4 area. So really, Cell seems great in that respect, because it really fits with what the whole deck as a whole likes to do.
Could you see yourself not playing a Unison out of curiosity? Like maybe if you remove the Unison, give it more space in the deck, right? Like what is your current deck size?
I run the 50 card deck.
Okay.
It is really tight with having the 4 Unisons, but to be honest, all I'd replace them with that I could think of is more of the Boos. But with how much you burst and the Dawn of Evil, I feel like I don't really need to have more of them.
For sure.
And if I get to turn 5 with this deck, like I could throw in like the blue baby counter if I ever made it to turn 5 and go for swing wins. Might not be a terrible idea, but
So here I'm just thinking a lot. I'm really afraid of the Trunks counterplay because none of my stuff really has deflect. So I think I have him at 1 marker now. So I'm just debating if he's going to +1 on his turn and then attack. Because I'm debating whether or not to use the new Tora blocker to play out a Bardock, and I didn't really want him to hit that. So the only option was for me just to risk it and play it. Now he's not able to touch it yet, but he will. I think he absorbs it, if I'm not mistaken. Or do you absorb the 4-drop?
I'm pretty sure I absorbed the 4-drop and you block with the 1-drop.
Yeah, because with the auto on the Tora, it doesn't matter as long as it gets removed from the battle area. You can play any Bardock 5 cost or less in rest mode. This deck has a few targets for that, but I run Final Strike Bardock, which is an SR from Clash of Fates where the leader came out of, and that card is a 25k barrier that whenever it restands, your opponent bottom decks a card. I've gotten a lot of criticism about running that card in the deck, but I like it. It's a good target for the Tora. It's got a couple targets to it. It's a good evolve target. You can charge it and play via 5-drop Bardock Ape to evolve. So it has its merits. And then another card I run is Tora's Red Armband, which lets the card restand and then it becomes a 35k double striker. So it has its merits, and like I just saw with this play right here, I was able to restand with the Tora combo and make him discard or bottom deck a card on his turn. So it does have a disruption potential too, which I like that a lot.
You had talked a little bit about the Tora's Red Armband, and I was completely off of that card in a big way. And then you and I tested, and it completely turned me around on that card, just because of how efficient it is in this deck.
Absolutely, and with the new support from Battle Evolution, you can find it real easily with the Guinea Super Rare. You can play it as early as turn 2 with the new blue-yellow Bardock because it doesn't activate main. You can play it just from your hand for 2 energy. So it gets so much value. Just even just the generic, just tapping 4 and drawing 4 cards can really save you in a pinch because you can draw the negate you need. You can draw your secret rare if you don't have it in hand. So there's a lot of value out of those combos.
Yeah, I was super excited to see that card actually get play. I played a lot of Bardock Crew back in Clash of Fate, and I haven't got the chance to sit down and really play with a lot of the new stuff because my focus has been on other decks. But finally seeing that card get play has got me super hype. Just because of how much value it is. Which, outside looking in, paying 4 energy for that card, for an extra card, always seems pretty bad until you get into gameplay and realize just how 4 energy is really nothing to play that card.
Well, it does even more too, because at the end of your turn with that card, you untap 1 of your energy.
Exactly.
So you're technically only playing it for 3. And if you're using the new red or blue-yellow Bardock, I keep saying red. If you use the new blue-yellow Bardock, it's only costing you 1 energy to play that card. Which, what? Draw 4 for 1 energy? I'll do that. I'll do that every day.
Yeah.
So one of the big crutches in this deck too is I utilize the baby Unison, the 3-cost blue Unison, and then I also use the baby ape. Trevor was pressuring me quite heavily with his triple strikes, so I didn't feel safe tapping out to play that card. So I just wasn't able to get it out on the field because one of my big combo finishers is using the counter from the baby ape and then making my leader really tall and just getting extra big swings in. So I wasn't able to utilize that combo at all, which ultimately hurt a lot because I wasn't able to use my defensive plays with the Trunks counter plays. I wasn't able to counter to keep myself pushing. So I was pretty much the whole game just thinking, how am I just going to survive?
Yeah. Trevor and I talked a lot when he was, talking about coming back to the game, and he kind of laid his Buu deck out for me. And we've been talking another kind of version of the Boo engine, but when he laid this deck out and we sat and talked about it, I was really impressed by how quickly and how versatile this engine could be. And one of the cards that I think really makes this deck feel unique is Boo Make You Cookie. Like, the removal that card offers is one of the most unique, effective forms of removal in the game. How has that card been for you?
The first weekend I used it, it was very useful. This weekend I never played it. I think it's really going to be more of a side deck card if you play like a best of 3.
Okay.
I probably wouldn't actually put it in every version of the deck because, as I was reminded by Bancroft in the first week of videos where I used it, you have to drop a card basically to absorb one of your opponent's cards whenever you use it. Which can kind of mess you up if you're not. Because sometimes I just end up with like 4 or 5 cards in my hand, which is what I've kind of rectified this week by using the UI more offensively than defensively to dig for cards that I need instead of using it on my opponent's turn. I think the Boo Make You Cookie will be really good against enemies like Red Broly and stuff like that, where you want to keep their 1-drops from going up their chains, especially in the earlier turns. But as far as like a general all-purpose card, I do find it harder to use it, especially with how much barrier is in the game right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
So, have you thought about running the 1-drops, like just 1-drop, draw 1 cantrips alongside the Frieza Cell Unison? Other than like the double strike, or is that's the critical Goku, right?
That's the critical Goku.
Have you thought about running like just a small like draw package to be able to play off of the Frieza Cell to kind of keep that hand a little bit more healthy?
I have. It's one of those situations where the deck, like we were talking earlier, is just really, really tight. Because you have to run the Go Tanks and you have to run the Son Gohans to actually have the special effects of the cards. So you effectively are immediately locked into 12 cards in the deck list if you actually want it to be, consistent and powerful.
Sorry, just a slight interruption here. Trevor attempted to swing, and I activated my leader's auto, which threw him off, which we had a good chuckle out of this, because the auto states you can essentially negate an attack if you crit 1 of your life, so it was able to keep me alive for the next turn.
Yeah, that was me being unfamiliar with that, because when we dueled earlier in the week, we never even got to that point, so I was like, wait, what?
Well, you never really want to use that effect. I almost never do. I'm almost never in the position where I need to do that. But if I didn't, I would have just lost the game there. I wanted to at least see what I could do on my terms and try to dig, because there's essentially one card in my deck that could essentially get me out of the situation, and that would have been Baby Hatch. So I'm trying to dig to see if I can find it, because one of the problems with this deck is it's really low on removal, and that's one of the reasons why I think Trevor's deck is so strong inherently, because it does have really, really good removal. So I wasn't really able to take anything off his board besides swinging into it, but since he was removing all my cards pretty easily, I was pretty much floundering at this point. I had no real way to set myself back up for a win. So I was just kind of going for a Hail Mary to try to find the card to keep me alive so I can ultimately get a baby ape out on the field. So my goal is to swing, see what he does, and then activate Tor's Red Armband to get some cards back from from the deck and try to keep going.
Jimmy mentioned one of Blue's biggest problems is how long they drag the game on in Blue decks, and it makes it really difficult for the best of 3. But on top of long games, Blue struggles with removal. Like if you look at Nick's Field versus Trevor's field. Trevor's sitting on, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 battle cards, 2 tokens, and a Unison to Nick's 1 battle card. And where Nick doesn't have any type of removal, Trevor's field is just blowing up. And this is one of the problems with blue in the format. And most of blue's removal is bounce back to hand. And that doesn't really help in most
Absolutely.
Boo has the unique thing in blue in that it takes the card away from the opponent when it comes to removal, where blue tends to be bouncing to the hand, very rarely bottom decking a card. So a lot of other colors that strive on removal tend to KO, warp, put the card out of play. Where blue tends to not have that, and Boo has the luxury of just being able to say, "Hey, give me that card. You literally cannot play this card anymore because it's on my field."
Yep.
Which I think is another fantastic strength of Boo Making Cookie, because you can remove a valuable piece from your opponent's field, and they can't get it back, especially if you put it under your leader.
Yep. It completely removes access to that recursion at any point later in the game. If they have it, it prevents building boards or drop areas for Overwhelm. It's just a fantastic piece of removal. Probably one of the best type beside Warp, I would think, against most decks.
So here's the play I was talking to you about, Trevor.
Yeah.
You did not discard 2 cards on that second one, unfortunately. But in all fairness, unfortunately, Nick, you did lose your Hatchiak. All you had to do was
Which we thought was the funniest thing in the world.
Yeah, it was bad. Feels bad, man.
So realistically, you could have just swung with your leader, got the draw, didn't combo, let him combo out if he wanted to, and then immediately turn around and play the Utter Boo.
Yeah, evolve into that Boo, yeah.
So you had the chance of still doing it. It was a misplay, but it definitely did not change the outcome for that duel.
I disagree, but that's just me.
Yeah, Nick had the next set Secret Rare, not set 13, but set 14.
Oh, snap.
That gets Super Baby Hatchiak that picks up Baby Hatchiak from your drop area and plays him.
It lets you play 2 Secret Rares.
Yeah,
and does the effect of the first Secret Rare.
Yeah, so actually, Trevor, I'm sorry you lost. You're going to have to give your promos back, and you're banned from the shop forever.
Okay.
Welcome to the club.
You got it, buddy.
So
I'll just go back on hiatus for a year.
with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget, there's buttons. Feel free to click them. All right, with that being said, Trevor, last words.
Be on the lookout for all the new stuff coming from Attack On Productions. Hopefully next week we'll have some spicy decks for you guys.
That's always the plan. Nick?
Bardock's cool. He fought for his friends. So don't play green. We got to put that plug in there because your friends won't like that.
Jimmy?
Treat them bitches like hanging coleslaw. Replace them with more bread.
Oh my god.
That's good.
Fluff, can you... Hang on. Don't give him credit for that one. Fluff, can you...
I don't have anything like that. Thanks for playing blue, guys. It was a really interesting, fun weekend with all the different types of decks. Nick, I'm disappointed in you for not playing green. I thought we were going to ride this this hype wagon or lack thereof to the bank, my dude.
Well, to be fair, one of our friends was borrowing my green deck, so.
Oh, that is very true. Someone was actually borrowing the green deck,
and he did really well with it.
Yeah, he didn't do bad. He did really good. So hopefully,
his first game, right?
It's his first tournament. I think.
Yeah.
He finished what, 4th?
Maybe
somewhere around that.
No, he finished second. I remember that because he was playing green. He finished second.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Right. Anyway, before we get off on another tangent, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to do the YouTube like stuff. If there's anything that you'd like to see us do, leave it in the comments below. Yada yada yada. Begging for your love. As always, read your cards, know your plays. We make mistakes so you don't have to. Fluff out.